Hey YouTube, it's Mark.
And Rocky.
And we are This Cruise Life. It's been a while since we've done one of these first 24 hours videos, but we promised you we would because we wanted to tell you all about more at sea.
Right.
And our first experience and thoughts here on board Norwegian Getaway.
That's right. We have been on for 24 hours now, and we've been through a lot. It's been an action-packed 24 hours on this ship, and we are so excited to share everything that's happened with the timeline since we boarded the ship.
So let's jump on in. We got to the terminal in New Orleans, and the first thing that we thought was, this is chaos. But actually,
it really wasn't that bad. The lines looked long, and it seemed like there was lines for lines for lines for lines, which sounded a little bit like the experience in Vancouver when we sailed out of there. But really, it was constant flow. It was great. From the time we got in line at 11 o'clock until 11:30 is the amount of time it took for us to get onto the ship.
As soon as we walked on board the ship, they were directing us to our muster stations, which we absolutely love. But in true Norwegian Cruise Line fashion, they gave us a piece of paper, single-use paper, that said, here's where your every muster station is, despite the fact that they were guiding everyone to their muster station.
And the assistant cruise director was making announcements on where each muster station was located based on the letter. A little strange.
We saw those little pieces of paper all over the ship yesterday. I'm sure the crew loved them.
In fact, I don't even know where ours is right now. Oops.
But we mustered, and then we decided to head to lunch. We headed on over to the local, O'Sheehan's, which is the former brand of the local here on board Norwegian Cruise Lines. Unfortunately, we knew this, it's boarding, and so it is busy. The gal let us know. She's like, sorry, we don't have any seating right now. It'll be a couple minutes.
We're okay with that.
That's fine.
We expect it.
A couple minutes later, she came over and she's like, yeah, I would just recommend you go to the buffet. That's open too. And we're like, no, we're actually okay waiting.
Yeah.
And not a minute later, they said, oh, magically, there are a bunch of tables that are now open. And so probably 5 or 6 tables open.
Yeah.
Interesting. So we sat down and had some lunch.
Very nice and comfortable food. I really enjoyed my Reuben. So the menu is very similar to what you find in the local on the bigger ships.
Not very similar. It's
identical.
The local. It's the same menu. Yeah. I had my chili. I had my nachos. And all of the desserts are the same. I love the local. I love O'Sheehan's.
But yeah, it was a great experience. And then after we were done eating at O'Sheehan's, we had a couple of hours to kill before our rooms would be available. So we decided to go around and take some video tours of the ship, because we want to get ready for all of the different videos that we're going to be putting out.
We have toured pretty much this ship from top to bottom. We've been in the arcade. We've been around the jogging track. We've been at the pools, the gym, spa, the spas. Okay, anyway, we're getting off track. Then the rooms were ready at about 2 o'clock. So the rooms are available a little bit later here. Yeah. But we went to the room. We did a quick tour. We did a little bit of unpacking, but not a lot.
Yeah, and we discovered that the room was very similar in style and size to the Norwegian Encore that Mark stayed in October of 23 when he did his Alaskan cruise.
While we've recorded a room tour, go check this one out in the meantime, and then I'm gonna ask you to compare the two side by side when we post our getaway room tour.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So we put some stuff away, and then we headed out and did some more exploring of the ship.
And it was the deck party. It was the sail away party. Yeah. Now, here's what I will tell you about the sail away party. If you're really sold on the sail away party, get there early. Yeah. Because of the design of the ship, there's not a lot of space for you to be on the floor. And once those railings fill up above, here was our view of the deck party. And
Pardon the heads.
yeah, I would just recommend getting there. Cruise tip: get there early. Otherwise, you're just going to see a lot of backsides of people.
Right.
Not as exciting. Like the Sky, though, they threw out T-shirts and they had music and dancing and singing and all of that stuff. And of course, some Journey was playing. Of course. Like any cruise ship sail away party. And then from there,
we ended up checking. We went out to the Spice H2O. We walked around the rest of the upper decks where we could.
Here's what I'm surprised. Spice H2O, speaking of. So that's their new concept. I'm really surprised. It just felt like more deck space.
It did.
So there's a Spice H2O sign, but there's nothing that delineates that space as anything different than just the standard deck. Like Serenity on Carnival has all of that green and teal, and like the adults.
Well, I think part of that is because it's not 24 hours adults only. there are hours of operation for that area. So anytime after 7 p.m., it's anything
open.
goes.
It's open. But still, there's no branding whatsoever of Spice H2O.
Right.
I'm curious on Encore, because Encore just installed that adults-only concept. They ripped out the laser tag and installed the popular Spice H2O. I think it's only popular because it's adults only. There's nothing, the bar was the same, the menu's the same, everything is the same as if you were out on Lido Deck.
Right. So then from there, we ended up going inside, got a little bit of food from the buffet, which I will say I was very pleased with the size of the buffet. So far, my only previous exposure to a Norwegian Cruise Line's buffet was on the Norwegian Sky. And if you watched that video, you will know that it was a very small buffet with some very significant pinch points that was very frustrating.
Which is why I was excited for Rocky to check out a newer Norwegian Cruise Line ship. I think, to be fair, the buffet wraps all the way around the marketplace, and I got a build your own pasta. I think you and Brian got some drinks.
We did.
We tried 66 gin from Norwegian Cruise Lines, one of our favorite beverages. Recorded a little short about that, and then we went to change for
the meetup. There was an LGBTQ plus meetup that we decided to go to at Sugarcane Mojito Bar.
It was hot.
It was great. Yeah, we got there and we were the greeting committee.
We pulled together 4 tables, literally 4 tables, and people were just super great. It was really nice to meet fellow cruisers and just raise a glass. It was, I will say, probably the longest we've ever stayed at a meetup.
Yeah.
We missed dinner last night.
We did.
We missed the dining room dinner. We ended up back at O'Sheehan's. After the meetup, we ended up back at O'Sheehan's, and I had my favorite fish and chips.
You did. You did.
What did you have?
I
don't remember.
I had the chicken salad sandwich, which was also really tasty.
I do remember because I have pictures, but it's a little. We definitely enjoyed the mojitos at Sugarcane Mojito Bar last night. Although I will say, they were so muddled down. Every single drink, I was picking out mint for my tea. Did you notice that?
I did. I noticed a little bit of it. It wasn't too bad for me. Maybe it was just the different drink types that I was getting.
Yeah. No, we did spend a day and a half in New Orleans beforehand, so we were exhausted. After dinner, we went back to the stateroom,
unpacked some more,
called it a night,
and we were out like a light bulb.
How'd you sleep?
I slept very well.
What'd you think of the bed?
The bed is firm.
It's firm.
It's very firm, and I kind of noticed that when I first even took a seat on the bed earlier in the day.
You can ask for a mattress topper.
That's true.
Okay.
I'm excited for another night to check it out because that first night you're still kind of getting situated and acquainted with the area and all of that, and so it can be a little strange.
I slept well. My only issue, there are 2 issues that I have with that stateroom, and we'll talk about this in the full review as well. The air conditioning doesn't stay on.
Yeah, we need to figure that out.
It stays on for about 10 minutes, then it turns off and resets back to off, and you have to turn it back on. And so it was hot in that stateroom. I'm super thankful that I brought my travel fan, which you can get in the store.
Yes.
And then the second issue was our room steward. When she services the rooms, she doesn't use a door jamb. She just turns the deadbolt. And as she goes in and out of the rooms, it just slams the stateroom doors constantly.
It's like a balcony cabin.
And so we were like, well, that was an earlier morning than we expected.
It was.
I just took a little nap, actually.
You did.
Outside of our first 24 hours.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, kind of to reiterate the size of the cabin, it is very small. So our hooks, magnetic hooks that we brought, come in very handy. It is a magnetic or metal walls, which is really nice.
There's tons of storage in the bathroom, which is fascinating.
There's
Again, watch this tour of the Encore and subscribe to the channel so you can see the tour of our stateroom and our full review. Last bit of the 24 hours was this morning. What did we do?
We got up and we went to one of the main dining rooms for a lunch, which was lovely. We went to the Taste restaurant and
I had chicken flautas, which were really tasty. No avocado, and so they had no issues holding the avocado, which I very much appreciate. Every time we sit down for a meal, they've asked us any allergies we should know about, so I do appreciate that, Norwegian Cruise Line.
And I had mine with the avocado, and it was quite tasty.
Yes.
And then after that, we made our way over to the Latitudes Welcome Back Party. That is, if you're a member of the Latitudes program with Norwegian Cruise Lines, you can go there and meet the officers of the vessel.
Now, technically, that is outside of the first 24 hours, so you are just going to have to stick around for the full review on that one because I was very surprised, and not in like an inspirational surprise way. I was surprised in a it will make my didn't love list actually on our full review. So stick around for that. That's outside of the first 24 hours, but we wanted to give you a quick update. And then what we really wanted to talk about was more at sea.
More at sea, yes. So when we got onto the ship yesterday, we went down to the restaurant reservations area. So they have Le Bistro as well as the Comedy Club, I believe it is, dedicated as restaurant reservations. So you can get that all taken care of.
And the
best part about it, I was going to say, is they have all of the menus laid out for every venue. And so we got to actually see what the new cover charge fees are for the restaurants versus the previous iteration of Free at Sea, where everything was an a la carte pricing.
Love the new concept. Love that they are matching what they used to do and what all the other cruise lines do. Those a la carte pricing, you've heard us say this on the channel, were ridiculous. $46 for a fish. Like, I mean, it was just, no one would actually eat there, which is, they've learned that.
Yeah.
So they've returned to that a la carte pricing. We're posting all of those on the website.
Yes, we are.
So you'll have all of the new 2025 menus for Norwegian Cruise Lines.
I will say the one area that I didn't love being cover charge is sushi.
Yeah.
Sushi, you usually want to go in and enjoy a roll or two, get a salad, get the miso soup.
We don't need a 4-course meal at sushi.
And so for sushi, that's
even
the
lunch.
one spot that doesn't make a ton of sense having a cover charge.
And it's $50 for if you want to eat at sushi. So we're probably going to skip that this time.
Right.
The other thing, more at sea, the drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Norwegian touts more drinks than ever included, more premium drinks than ever included.
And I would agree.
There are a lot of premium drinks, but there are also a ton. There are way more exclusions than, so when I sailed on Encore, I had Free at Sea Plus. I upgraded to the premium drinks. There is no option to upgrade to premium drinks. Your only option is if you want any of those. I mean, and when I say premium drinks, it's a list like this on the menu. Your only option is to take your $15 discount and pay the difference. And so while, yes, there are more spirits included, the other thing that I've noticed is there are far less cocktail menus. It's essentially just a list of spirits that are included and a list of spirits that are premium. And you call what you want. The Mojito bar has a menu. The pool bar has the same menu across there. But otherwise, it's the same same menu across the ship. We're not as excited about that. We like to drink around the ship and try different drinks.
The good news is we can get your favorite, the Gin 66, at any of the bars, and that's now included, which is great.
We're going to, in fact, go get an Irish coffee that we're going to post right here in this picture, hopefully, because we've tried at several bars now, and they've told us, no, you can't get those here. So that was my favorite drink on Encore, and I could get it around the ship. It just seems like that's changed.
So we'll figure that out.
Okay, so our first 24 hours, overall thoughts, your first 24 hours?
It's been a great cruise. Definitely.
It's been a great cruise. It's been 24 hours.
A little bit overwhelmed when we first stepped onto the ship yesterday, just the size of the ship and where everything is located. But I'm starting to get the lay of the land, or lay of the ship, and understand where everything is located. And there's some areas where I'm noticing a little bit of a pinch point issue. The hallways, especially going to staterooms, they're very, very narrow. So it's very hard for people to pass just one-on-one. So it's a good news. The doors to the cabins are recessed, so you can kind of jump out into that area for the other person to pass. But I'm noticing that a little bit, even just on the main public walkways.
You saw some dead ends, which I called out on the Encore as well. I will say I love this ship does not have that racetrack around the top deck. It just opens it up so much more. It's got the cool Sky Ropes course, which I love. It opens it up so much more. And because of Spice H2O, there's more places to lay out than there was on Encore.
There's more, but maybe not enough.
I will tell you, today we heard a bunch of cruisers walking around trying to find a chair, complaining that there was not any open chairs. They were calling out towel hogs, and whether or not there were towel hogs, I don't know. We didn't watch, but there were not any. As me and Brian were walking around,
it was a challenge.
We didn't find any chairs in the sun. There were a couple in the shade. Anyway, my thoughts. It is essentially the Encore. Now, the Encore adds several forward decks. They built her up in the front. They've made some venue changes, things like that. But essentially, if you've been on the Encore, you're going to feel right at home here on the Getaway. And conversely, if you've been on the Getaway, you're going to feel right at home on the Encore. But you're going to have some new and additional things to check out on that ship.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So overall, I would say it's a great ship. I'm excited for the next 6 days to see what happens and how things evolve. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you can be aware of everything that happened on the Norwegian Getaway, and we can share what we loved,
what we didn't love,
and what we hated.
We'll see you soon, everyone.
We'll see you on the ocean.